Welcome to Unchained with Horatio and Lori, where we give you the news you need to know. At the top of our program are our stories for the week.
Okay, final reminder, if we only have 3 more days for the tax extension, May 17th. So because if you miss it then, it's going to be with penalties.
Yeah,
So
3 more days.
3 more days, people.
Okay.
For our next segment, we're going to be talking about health and wellness.
Yes.
And in this one, we've been talking about breaking generational curses and things like that. And we're talking about diabetes and high blood pressure.
Right.
And you brought up something earlier when we were discussing, getting ready for the show about generational curses and being hereditary.
Right.
And we were discussing how
that we're not necessarily passing the disease from generation to generation, but the behavior.
Correct.
We're passing on those old cooking habits that we got from our grandmothers and our mothers, and we just keep passing it from generation to generation. It's those habits that cause the diseases that we have. So those are the changes we need to make.
Yes. So I'm real excited about this segment here. So I'm sitting here, and my co-host, he's going to correct me, but I am textbook obese.
No, you're not.
I am, textbook-wise, I'm obese. So what I've been doing, I actually sat down with my doctor to change some of those habits that I've created.
Right.
So what I did was, I'm very, very proud of myself. So I turned my garage into a gym, home gym.
Now that's awesome.
Yes. So I'm working out.
Okay.
Every day.
And how is that helping with your life change?
Well, I'm really excited to say that I'm actually off my high blood pressure medicine.
Just from exercise?
Exercise and diet.
Okay. So
I did change that. So I'm excited about that. And so there's some tips that I kind of wanted to go over with you all when it in regards to diabetes and high blood pressure. One of the tips are for diabetes, fruit. Everybody thinks fruit is such a great thing, right? So it's kind of not.
Yeah.
Some fruit carry fructose,
right?
And which is one of the things that diabetics have to watch when it comes to their insulin. So certain fruits we need to stay away from. My doctor actually took me off of fruits, even though I'm not diabetic. It wasn't actually good for my healthy eating habits.
Okay.
I'm not on a diet. I'm eating healthier.
Right.
Speaking about eating healthier, what about eating fruits and vegetables that are in season?
That's so important.
Very important.
Yes.
So we have a chart on our website where you can actually look up what fruits and vegetables are in season. We're going back to the fruits now, right? So there's certain fruits that we really should kind of stay away from, and they're really citrus fruits, which is sad because I love pineapples. Pineapples is one of my favorite, and oranges, which is supposed to be really good and great in vitamin C. But for certain people, especially women who are of a certain age, they're maturing and stuff, you have to watch those things, especially if your body are craving sugar. Gotta watch that. So better fruits to eat are blueberries, because they have high in antioxidants, right? Blueberries and raspberries are really good to eat. Make sure with your vegetables you're eating a lot of fiber and iron. So spinach and kale is very good for you as well. And again, watch seasonal foods that you should eat, because I know a lot of us like to go to Publix and Walmart, right, and get those fruit bowls.
Yes, packaged all up nice for you.
And cantaloupes, there's always cantaloupes and honeydews and watermelons in there. Those things are not all year round fruit. So just because it's there and ready and available for you doesn't mean that it's good for you. So watch that as well. And I know you grow vegetables.
Yeah, I have a garden in my yard. As a matter of fact, when we purchased a home, I cut down all the pretty trees.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I planted all fruits and vegetables in the yard.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I heard you have strawberries.
I have strawberries.
I'm coming to your house.
Yeah,
It's
come on.
strawberry season.
Blueberries
too.
as well.
You have
Yeah,
blueberries?
I have blueberries
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
So yeah.
And it's that time of
It's-
season
yes.
to actually be eating those things. So the other thing that we also have to remember is those cravings, right?
Right.
So I had a sugar and salt craving. So we have to listen to our bodies because they'll tell us these stuff, right? So to carve those cravings, what I did was, and I don't know if people know about this, but good tip. If you are craving salt, use vinegar.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Vinegar actually puts the taste of salt on your items. So I did that with my salads.
Okay.
And speaking about salads, people always think that they're the greatest and they're the healthiest.
Right.
You know, sometimes you'll go to places and they'll show you the calorie count.
Correct.
In your salads. If your salad is 1,000+ calories, then it's
Right.
not really good for you because that's your daily intake.
Yes, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So things that you need to watch when you're eating your salads is preservatives. Anything that has preservatives in it. Anything with preservatives actually has a lot of sodium in
Right.
it. So watch that salt intake. Again, changing your diet in the way of making your own salad dressing. Oil and vinegar and all-purpose seasoning has no salt in it. So you can make your own salad dressings as well as watch the cheese. Cheese, yes, watch cheese. Cheese is full of sugar. We need to watch that as well. So take off some stuff and put on some other stuff. It will be actually much healthier for you. So watch the cheese, watch the added preservatives that you're doing because of the sodium, and just watch out for those things. It'll be really good for you.
One of the things that you pointed out earlier when we were talking, it was about the craving. I want to go back to the cravings. You said that when we're craving things, it's actually because there's a deficiency, and that's why the body is craving it.
Correct. There
So,
is a deficiency in your diet, so pay attention to those things. I'm not a big supplement taker. Though I do encourage it if it's needed because it's a deficiency, but you can get back those vitamins in the correct foods. So please, again, pay attention to your body. If you're craving something, like I was craving salt and sugar, those things are missing in my body. Not really sugar, but it was actually potassium and magnesium that I needed to spike back up. Those levels were low for me. And so with me changing the way how I eat, I put back in those things into my body, and now I'm doing so much better. So those were my quick tips for health and wellness today.
That's great tips. I think that'll make us a healthier community if we just take on and follow some of those tips.
Yeah. And talking about health and wellness, I think we should turn it right over to you for the Parental Bill of Rights.
The Parental Bill of Rights. So the Parental Bill of Rights is a bill that's sitting on the governor's desk as we speak. And what it does is it gives a parent a little more strength, if you will, in the decision making for their children, for things like, their health care. And I understand, just like we talked earlier, that our children are people and they have a right to make decisions for themselves.
They do.
And we agree with that.
Yes.
However, I think the bigger conversation here is that some of the people that our children go to may be swaying them in a direction that you may not agree with.
Correct.
So, and it's happening without your knowledge. So I think that's what this conversation is more about. So for that reason, I kind of like the bill.
Yes.
And it also deals with the education because, in the classroom, teachers have a lot of influence, with our children.
Yes.
And so they may, again, be giving information and leading them in an area where you may not agree with. So again, the bill is a very good bill. I would encourage everyone to take a look at the bill.
Yes.
To see, because this is the other thing, is that we need to become a community that understands the bills and the laws that are being created that we have to, live by on a day-to-day basis. So I encourage everyone. It's out there. It's one of the biggest bills that the state of Florida is dealing with right now. So I would go and I would look at it and see exactly what the bill is saying and what rights they are giving us as parents.
Yeah. It's very, very important that we do take a look at this bill. There are things that I do believe in as well. We were discussing about HIPAA and things like that, because I do believe that our children do have rights,
Yes.
and that we should, even though we're parents, we should give them the right to choose. And we were talking about how those practitioners are sometimes could be, they're also salesmen, because they're trying to sell, the products that they do have in the office and things like that.
Yeah, because they do have an obligation and a relationship with the
pharmaceutical,
and
insurance.
Yes.
Everybody plays their part, right?
Correct.
So giving those kids rights who don't understand those types of things could be a little tricky and dangerous.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of glad that parents are getting into, they're looking for us to get into those discussions with our kids. Still not making those decisions for them, but having open conversation and dialogue so they understand what's
And I think that's the biggest thing is to open up conversation, to start the conversation about these things. So it may not be the perfect bill, but at least it's a start to something. So we start the conversation and we improve it as we go.
I like it. Well, guys, we'll be right back. But before we go, here's the weather for the day. Welcome back. And on April 9th, an executive order for the FSA testing was passed. Here to discuss that with us is our resident expert, Regina Haywood. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you for having me again.
It's so great to have you back.
Yes. So, as we all know, FSA testing or state testing is a big moneymaker for both school districts and the state. So, with COVID looming amongst our school year, the big question was, are we testing? So our Florida Commissioner of Education has allowed districts to make the decision for themselves. Duval County Schools has opted in. What that means is that they will be submitting for certain schools to get a school grade. They haven't voted on whether or not they're going to have these scores count for the students or not. Mostly the executive order is protecting our rising students. So those are going to be our 3rd graders, our 8th graders, and our 12th graders.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yes. So all students still need to make sure that they do their best on every single one of their tests, because you don't know what the state may do in the future to accommodate the gaps that were created during COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, so an example of this is that students were told last year when COVID hit that they wouldn't have to take their FSA testing. But during the school year, the kids were pulled in for testing. If they didn't perform well on, say, the algebra exam, this executive order is allowing for them to use their geometry scores instead.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that your student is doing what they need to do so that if there is some change in what is being measured, they'll be prepared, especially if they're a 10th or an 11th grader, because this is going to impact them the most.
This is so crazy, because what I didn't understand from the executive order, and you're clarifying right now, is that I thought that the students, the testing would not count for those who were graduating and for graduation and promotion all round. So if this from kindergarten to 12, but you're saying no, that's very different. We're looking at 3rd, 5th, and our seniors.
Correct. Wow. So all those other students still have time to play catch up of sorts.
Okay.
Yes. So you want to make sure that you're protecting who is being affected the most right now. And a lot of it is based on the district's decision, because the executive order is kind of like a suggestion and an okay from the state.
Right.
Districts still have the power over their own schools, just like the president can say what he wants for the United States, but it's on the governor what he wants for his state. So it trickles down to the same kind of process.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Not an opportunity to take a break and kick your feet up. You still have to get the work done.
Exactly. You really do. And even with our graduating seniors, it's come down to the principals making those decisions. So there are waivers in place for students that may not have traditionally gotten to graduate, but the principals are going to be able to look at their entire portfolio and see, did they make an effort during their academic career in high school towards graduation? Or did they decide to just kick back and relax for this past year and a half because COVID?
Yeah, so guys, don't kick back and relax. Do the work.
I mean, even if you get a waiver and it doesn't affect your graduation, does it affect those seniors that have a collegiate dream for that next phase, the next phase of their life? Will those scores affect them?
Now, the state or the national exams for college admissions, they are waiving for our graduating seniors to not have those test scores impact them. We're still testing them. In fact, last week we did have our SAT testing in our schools. But you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward because in lieu of test grades, you want to make sure that your academics are competitive, because you can't just show up to Harvard University and say, hey, I've been dreaming of this since I was in the 3rd grade of being here. You got your bags packed and you're like, show me to my room. It doesn't work that way. You still have to complete an application process and you still want to be a competitive student.
So do you think because of the testings, the FSA, the SATs and things like that, our soon-to-be college students will be taking more entrance exams with these colleges now?
I really think that is something that the colleges will be looking at moving forward, because this executive order on these secondary and primary school options will affect them along the line. So they will probably have to modify some of their admission things past just grades and test scores. So we'll look to see what they update with us soon, because I know over the past year, the local colleges here, they've taken maybe 2 to 3 weeks to come back with where they're moving forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Regina. That was great information. Thank you for clarifying so much for us, because there was a lot of things I misunderstood. Our resident expert, Regina Haywood.
For more information on this topic, visit the Unchained website. And please remember to visit nerdyenterprises.com for upcoming information on the 2021 STEAM Summer Camp.
Well, guys, we'll be right back.
And no, this is not a cooking show. The Muse on EV Network.
But I'm hungry now.
Well, you know, we can't all have what we want.
We tried to get wings the other night and it didn't actually happen.
I'm going for wings now.
Yeah, me too. Bye.
In lieu of the current climate with police officers and our community, I think it's time that we start to have some conversation about training within the police department.
Yes, I believe you're right. We just have to remember not too long ago, Derek Chauvin was charged with 3 counts of murder for George Floyd. So I think this is a great time to have that conversation.
Yes, I'm happy that it was justice for the family, but I just believe that it's deeper than that. I think that we have to look at the training that the officer are receiving, because even though we know that morally it was wrong, and we believe that he know that morally it was wrong, if the training justify their actions, then we're going to continue to have this problem.
I have to say, Horatio, you're so right on that, because I'm very big on playing devil's advocate and understanding both sides. This one was a really hard one for me to do so with, you know, especially with the way how he had contact with George, having his knee on his neck and his hands in his pocket. It was a real difficult one.
Right. And again, he was a field trainer. So I don't know if you know, Lori, but when I was in the Marine Corps in Beaufort, South Carolina, I was also a reserve police officer for the city.
I didn't know that.
And I had to go through the academy just to volunteer to be a police officer.
Okay.
But at that time, they taught us to shoot the wound. Every citizen has their day in court, is what we were taught.
Correct.
But now in the academy, they teach to shoot at center mass. For those that don't understand that, that's the mid torso. That's a kill shot.
Wow.
That is a kill shot. So yes. So if they're being taught to shoot center mass, then it justifies what they're doing. Any conflict that I have in the streets,
it's null and void because there's no conversation now.
Correct.
So how do we even talk down?
Correct.
Talk down the situation. There's no talking, no communication.
Right. And that break touches on the subject of defunding the police.
Okay.
I don't believe that it was ever explained properly what defunding the police is. It does not mean to take money from the police department to reduce their forces. What it means is that the police are not prepared to deal with certain conflicts. There are people that have mental illnesses and they notice when they go to the scene. So if there's a conflict, they still handle that as if it was a criminal and not someone with a handicap. So I just think that, again, we need to have more conversation about the laws and the statutes that are being presented to us as citizens so that we understand, because their fight is you're trying to take money from us. That's going to reduce our forces. No, what we're saying is, what's the difference in someone going with the police when there's someone that has special needs and a suicide attempt? You bring in a specialist to talk a person down off a building.
Yes.
It's the same concept.
That's a very good thought. So we had a great conversation earlier where you educated me on a statute that was very, very important and I didn't know about.
You're talking about the statute. You have the right to defend yourself against unlawful arrest.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, what I want all the citizens to understand, educate yourself on what the statutes are. We'll put the statute below, but we want you to read it for yourself and understand what you're reading. You know, that's the best way for you to defend yourself, is understand what the laws say.
Yes.
So what the law is, the law protects the citizen from unlawful arrest.
Okay.
Or if it's mistaken identity.
Okay.
So the police officer stops you. He doesn't have any just cause for stopping you. And he says, I need you to get out of the car and put your hands behind your back, and you say no. You have a right to do that because he's not justified in what he's doing. And so this statute protects you in that way. Again, educate yourself. Know what the law says. We are not promoting resisting arrest in every situation. Only when you have the right to do so. Because the statute reads that if you are detained unlawfully and it escalates past a conversation, you have the right to defend yourself even at the point of taking an officer's life.
So this is where education came in for me because I did not know any of that. And as you said, yes, you really do need to read the law and understand the statutes. And like you said, it depending on the situation, you really have to be careful. And like you said, we're not promoting resisting arrest. We're actually more promoting to comply.
Correct, because we want you to survive the moment.
Yes.
I know it's strong language. We understand that. So what we're asking is from the police department and from the city, let's sit down, let's have dialogue. Let's talk across the table and work through these situations. Because just like the police officers have rights, so do the citizens. And if all of us exercise our rights, it gets ugly at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm so glad that we'll be coming back on another episode and having a resident expert to talk to us in regards to police training and laws. So this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Again, we just need to start having having conversation.
Yeah.
And again, I personally believe that it started training.
It does. It starts at training, and it also starts with education at home.
Yes.
Because complying, people say, oh, you comply, and then after that, what happens? Well, what happens is if you educate yourself on the laws, you can then go and seek legal consultation and go fight this in court. That's the fight that you want. You want to survive the moment so you can have that fight in court.
I agree. Yes. For more information, visit Unchained website. Educate yourself.
Well, guys, we'll be right back. On this local spotlight, I'm excited because we had a great interview. Well, you had a great interview.
It was awesome.
With Kareem El-Amin of LMNOP.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, great designer.
Great designer. Man, I have to get that luggage. Did you see that luggage?
I did,
Yes.
I did, and the shoes.
And the shoes.
But we're getting
Okay,
way too much.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
And on today's local spotlight, we're here with Kareem El-Amin.
Yes.
How's it going today, Kareem?
It's going well. What about yourself?
Hey man, everything is beautiful. So let's get started. Let's start to tell everybody a little bit about who Kareem is.
Okay. Well, I'm a multifaceted guy,
Okay.
multi-talented. I just got accepted in a pharmacy school.
Wow, big step.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm also a recording artist, and I'm a fashion designer as well.
And a fashion designer. Wow. Okay, well let's start by first, how can someone that wants to follow your music find you?
Yeah, most definitely. So you would go to any streaming platform that you have and just type in my last name, EL-AMIN, and it'll come up. And then you can see both of the albums that I produced and wrote for, and you can listen to it and hopefully you love it.
All right, you heard it here, Jacksonville. Let's start to support Kareem in his music endeavors. Now, let's get into what we came here to do today.
Okay.
Let's talk about this line we got here, man. LMNOP. Is it a nursery rhyme? What?
No. So it has a meaning behind it.
Okay.
So if you chop it up, it's El-Amin OP.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So El-Amin is my last name, obviously, and it means trustworthy in Arabic. So the translation would be the trustworthy operations. The OP is for operations.
Trustworthy operations. I like that. So what was that defining moment that Kareem said, I'm going to give birth to LMNOP?
Okay. So I woke up one day, walked in my closet, and I looked at all the labels, and none of them were black-owned labels. My name wasn't on any of the labels, and I felt like I should be a designer. I should be the one that makes something for black people, make it a black-owned business so they can support it.
I like that. I always believe that if they don't give you a stage to stand on, you should build it. So I like what you've done there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the pieces that you have here. I see that the shoes are here. You got luggage?
I got luggage, I got shirts, I got bags, I got shoes, I got masks, I got everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So, you from Jacksonville?
I'm from Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville.
Born at NAS Jacks Naval Base. Yes, from Jacksonville.
So, with that being said, we always love for the people in our city to embrace what we're doing.
Yes.
Jacksonville is a hard market.
It is.
You know, I've been in entertainment here. I've done a lot of things, and it's just a hard market to get to embrace.
Right.
So, how has it been being a designer in Jacksonville to get the community to embrace what you're doing?
So I started producing a product in Maryland.
Okay.
But to answer your question, it's a lot easier now because
Okay.
we have social media. We have,
Right.
You can go online, and everybody's on social media. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, the biggest platforms.
Right.
And so you can follow me there. You can follow me on the Instagram at LMNOP Official and on Facebook at LMNOP Official. And you can go to the website as well.
And go to the website. Okay. So let's look at some of the pieces, man. I'm really like a fan of this luggage here, man. It's nice, man.
It's designer. You gotta be nice.
It's beautiful, man. I have to say. And tell us about these shoes, man.
Okay, so these shoes here, they come directly from Italy.
From Italy.
From Italy. We'll ship them directly to you. We're made in Italy.
Italian leather.
Italian leather.
Italian leather.
Italian
Come on,
leather.
Jacksonville. You see this, right? Go ahead, man.
Italian leather. Come from Italy. Ship it directly to your house. The box is magnetic. It's all like high-end quality stuff. So
Wait a minute. I don't have to go to the store and get this. Going to ship it to my house.
we'll ship it to your house. You just go online,
Come on.
go to the website, purchase the shoe, we'll ship it right to your door. It'll take 2 weeks because we have to put them into production, and then you'll get them.
Okay. Okay. What else? What else do you have on the website?
So I have bags on the website. I have mostly t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, like the
Okay.
one I have on right now.
Right.
And I have joggers,
Like
like the ones I have on right now.
that's an LMNOP
This
original.
is LMNOP original.
Y'all see it, man. So, yeah. Hold up. What we got in the book bag there, man?
So let me show you real quick. I got some pieces. You can hold them up. That's one on the website. This one is on the website as well.
Wow. Nice.
There you go.
Yes, sir. That look like my size right there too, man. That's nice.
And I have some pieces for you too, for bringing me on the show.
That's nice. Jacksonville, you see this? He's from Jacksonville. This is a native. We need to support it. So when you walked in, I saw something. I just want you to explain what it is, man. I see a tiger.
Yeah.
And it's like a unique design of a tiger too, man. What is the significance behind the tiger?
So the significance behind the tiger is we named him Alpha the Tiger for alphabet.
LMNOP.
For LMNOP, right? I seen the tiger online. I was just drawn to it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, I seen it online and I had to make
Right.
it. I sent it to my graphic designer. I said, make this, finesse this, and make it my own. So he did it, sent it back to me. Perfect. I had no edits, anything. So he did it great the first time.
I love it. I love everything that you're doing. Jacksonville again, from music to designing a line of luggage, clothing, shoes, and soon to be in your local pharmacies. So let's support everything that he's doing. Again, give them information on how to reach him.
Okay, you can go to my website. It's www.elminop.com. That's ELAMINOP.com. You can also follow my music on all streaming platforms. You just type in my name. It's Kareem Elamin. It's Karim, and the last name is EL-AMIN. And it'll pop up. Both of the albums that I made and produced and wrote for will be on there, so you can take a listen to it.
Well, Kareem, man, we thank you for coming on the show. And look, we be looking for everything that you do, from your music to your line. And we're going to bring you back on the show, man, because you got to come back and perform.
Oh, I
See, we just found out
definitely.
that you do music too, man. You just doing it all. So we're going to bring you back. We're going to do a fashion show for you
Okay.
on the show, man. We'll
I really appreciate
come bring
that.
you back to, like I said, perform one of your songs here.
Okay.
And
I'll do that
man,
for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Jacksonville, Kareem Elamin, LMNOP.
Thank you for having me.
Come back for more Unchained. Great interview.
It was.
Yes.
Oh.
Again, that luggage.
I gotta go get that
Yeah.
wallet for my husband. I really did
It's
like
a nice
that wallet.
wallet.
It
Yeah,
really
it
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the best kept secrets here in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
So
really is.
that's one of the things we want to continue to do is promote, local talent, whether it be artists or designers. So support Kareem Melody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Website, everything will be on our website,
Yeah.
Unchained. So that's excellent. It was a great show
What
today.
a great show. It was an awesome show today. And again, like always, there's a challenge.
Yes.
And with everything that we talked about today, I think it's only appropriate that the challenge be get educated. We need to start educating ourselves, not only on the things that happen in our community, but let's start to understand what our rights are.
Yes.
And I know we prepare ourselves for the national elections and things like that, but those elections that are most important to us are the local
Are our
elections.
local,
Those
yes.
are the laws and rules that we live by locally. So we need to get involved. We need to understand and just get involved in our community.
So I think what we should do is actually put out a Facebook post in our
Yes.
group to
I like that.
to actually put out that challenge and find out from our citizens what statutes did they actually learn about and find out what they actually think about them. What do you think?
I like that.
All right.
That's why you my
Ladies and gentlemen, Horatio and Lori with Unchained. We'll see you next time.